Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here amongst all of you. And prior to me, there were a lot of speakers here that spoke about women empowerment, inclusivity, diversity, rights, activists, support system, ecosystem, right? So what's left when we are speaking about women diversity? I come from a people supply chain company. We have hired someone every 5 minutes for the last 20 years. But ironically, we've hired only 5% of the kids that came to us. And that raises a question on our productivity. Recalling history, in 1994, there was a front page article in the US newspaper that read, "India is more interesting than important." I'm sure that journalist must be eating the newspaper today, because what is happening in India is not just once in a decade, nor in a millennial, but once in a lifetime opportunity of a nation. We are the largest democracy with 65% of our working aged population 15 years and above. 42% of our workforce is in agriculture, contributing to about 18% of the GDP. But IT is about 0.8 that contributes to 8% of the GDP. So is unemployment our problem? No. We have been maintaining 4 to 8% of employment since 1947. But we are dealing with a problem which is employed poverty. What do we mean by this? 40% of our labor force is Vella. 11% of them are in manufacturing, and about 50% of them are self-owned examples or other self-exploiting. But we are battling with an issue of disproportionately balanced gender game. So someone did speak about that 50% of our women population, precisely 48% of the women population, contributes to about 18% of the GDP in India. Whereas in China, they contribute to 41% of the GDP. Now that's the power of women. That's the power of women in workforce. And how do you basically encourage women to get into workforce is a little bit of what we speak about today. As of June this year, 2024, last year precisely, 33% has been the year-on-year number of women being hired across industries. Yet, we have only 42% of the women that are financially independent. About 62% of the women, and this will be interesting to Creda and Homes and Building, 62% of the women today prefer real estate as an option versus the traditional fixed assets, stocks, and so and so. But within the real estate ecosystem, only 12% of the women hold workforce roles. They get 15% less paid in leadership roles, and only 2% account executive positions. What is all of this? We are talking about how do we empower women. Can we really empower women? Do women need to be told every time? Do they need a support system all the time? Why don't we look at something which will enable them to be a support system for themselves? And that's where you engrave the power of education. Ironically, the access to education to women is still a very low number in our country, especially when you talk about STEM education: science, technology, engineering, maths. Do you know we are globally the number one when it comes to women participation in STEM courses? Closely 43%. But the drop-off ratio of women entering the STEM career or picking up a science, engineering, electrical field is 50% drop. Only roughly about 23-24% women enter the pure play labor workforce. So why do these women drop out? Why do they don't pursue their careers ahead like how the others do? And obviously we will all discuss about the common problems of a gender bias society, age gap, lack of opportunities, what can women do alone? We don't have a support system at home. But I think I encourage more women to come up themselves. It's really not right all the time to say that, we don't have a support or we are not really made up. Our DNA structures are very different. We spoke about in the morning, right? Yes, men and women are different. They are made different, and let them be different. That's the beauty of the universe. Don't try to make them feel same. But more important is the equality that we can bring to what women can do and what men can do. Let them work in their own capacities. A simple example, we speak about, can a man take care of the house? Can a man take care of an infant child? But as a woman, would you be okay if the way the man took care of the child? You will have your own forms and your own ways of doing things there as well. And you'll constantly have the guilt of telling your man, you didn't do this correctly, you didn't do it correctly. How is he supposed to do it correctly? He's not born with the DNA of giving birth to a child. So that difference is out. Let them be independently. But I think what's important is today, how can we educate more women? That's when they understand the power of decision making. That's when they understand the power of calling themselves as primary owners, accountability, responsibility. See, when women, largely when they do financial decision making, they create independence, they are able to create a ripple effect on uplifting families, society, enabling better education, make more investments, access to better health care, access to better opportunities. I think if we want to break the biasness of our demographic dividend, we cannot ignore the women workforce contribution in our working population. And the ground basis for that is to have more women enabling careers. Only in technology role, IT sector, where you have the largest women contribution, 50% women drop out at the age of 35 years. And another 51% drop out till date today when they reach their mid-management careers. And we had someone in this afternoon speaking about how many leadership roles women occupy. The percentage is very poor. We are still at about roughly 11% across industries. Some industries, we are less than 7% also. So the growth and the career movement and upskilling is something that we need to be more bothered on, which will empower more women to join the workforce. Let me tell you, the numbers in the rural India are far more better. You have a lot of talent available in women because the STEM participation there is higher than the metros. But what happens? They lack an opportunity. We were interviewing someone a couple of years ago in one of the rural towns, and that girl comes to us. She was a diploma holder, and she's like, you give me 5,000 rupees in my hometown and I'll work, but if you want me to do it in Gurgaon, I'll take 15, Bombay, I'll take 20, and maybe if you send me to Dubai, I'll take 25. So we are like, why should we pay you different rates for different cities? He's like, वहाँ पे खाना पीना सोना बहुत महंगा पड़ता है, तो obviously you'll have to pay me accordingly. So then we said, why don't we hire a graduate? So he's like, madam, मैं graduate से कम खाना थोड़ी ना खाऊंगी, मैं भी उतनी जगह में सोऊंगी. So that's how, which means we need to have women participate in the right places. It's all about right places. Somebody said the other day saying that, the two important things that a child can do is, one, choose his or her parents and choose the right PIN code where you are born. That's how it is. But look at the four things, and these are some four pillars that I usually have imbibed, and I always want more women to work on this. Whether you are a young child, whether you are a student, whether you are a mother, whether you are an aged grandmother or a mother-in-law. This is applicable to all. Now, what's the first one? Take the long course. Stay. You must have heard about the Akbar and prisoner story. Okay? So Akbar had a prisoner, and he was sentenced to death. And when he was called, the prisoner said, Jahapana, don't sentence me to death. In 6 months, I will make your horse fly. So Akbar said, okay, if you can do that, go back to jail. Come after 6 months. Next day, his roommate asks him, how are you going to make the horse fly? So the prisoner says, man, it is 6 months. The horse may die, I may die, Akbar may die, or the horse may fly. Stay the course. That's the beauty of how you will. So the dropping off, we don't drop off as mothers, right? Do we? Would anyone drop off being a mother? Would anyone drop off being a homemaker? Whether you work, you don't work. So why would you drop off with your career, learning, being in the industry? Second, take more risk. Women don't take much risks, unless if it's on their personal front. But when it comes to on the different levels, the risk-taking factor reduces. So take more risk. Third, understand compounding. If I were to give an offer to all of you, would you take from me now 1 paisa doubling a day for 31 days or 10 lakh rupees? I think most of them will choose 10 lakh rupees. It's coming now. But look at this first situation. Till the 25th day of your 1 paisa doubling, it retains 10 lakhs. But the moment you cross 25th day, on the 29th day, and on the 31st day, you take back 1 crore 7 lakhs. That's the power of compounding. You invest now, you reap later. You learn now, you move ahead. So that's the model of compounding, and each woman is very good at that, but they don't understand the concepts of these. We all save for tomorrow. But try saving in smaller portions. Try investing. And the next one, which is largely lifelong learning. How many women today invest in learning? Basis our education that we have taken, we don't really make any efforts to invest in our learning. Do you save for your learning? It's important. And that's where the power of you being your own activist, you being your own support system, and you being your own empowerment will be able to create an inclusive work culture. We are living in a world of uncertainty, especially COVID has pushed everything away for us, right? We don't know what's tomorrow. It's important that we build on today, and tomorrow will follow. That's where I think women will play an important role. They will be able to build a better community. You will be able to add more value to your kids, to your community. In my opinion, I don't think that we really need to blame the other genders for not being responsible, for not being accountable. I think let's not look at the world being so cruel, but it's more important what you want to do. And that's where empowerment comes from. That's where decision makings come. Because when you upskill yourself, when you empower yourself, you will automatically empower others to let you do the decision making. So that's how today in India, we need more women to contribute to our workforce. We need more women to stay the long course. And we actually need more women to build communities, right? Today, as of June 23, we had about 10 million women who participated in self-groups, and about 50% of them that are engaged in taking loans to kind of build their businesses, expand career. We are the third largest in India as a startup economy, but only 10% of women-led owners is what we have. So my submission to all of us here, most importantly, is if we are speaking about empowerment, we need to break the biasness, but that needs to happen at our end. We need to make the start, and I think somewhere the ecosystem will come in support. Thank you very much, and I hope I could inspire at least one woman in this room. Thank you so much.